Now at 5, we are tracking showers and thunderstorms, which are working through the area. I'm going to break this down for you.
Plus, new details are released in the alleged kidnapping and murder of a pregnant woman from Arkansas. And a Pitt State professor is being honored as one of the top 2% of scientists in the world. We have thunderstorms in the area that could get severe. This is KOAM News at 5. Let's go straight to Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy.
Yeah, so far, well, first off, thankfully, we are getting some rain. I know it kind of stinks on a Friday evening, but we need the rain. Most of these have been moderate to strong thunderstorms. We haven't had anything severe across the region, which is good, but the likelihood for severe weather is going to stick in our southern counties as we go through the evening hours. Rain really increasing across southwestern Missouri. It's been ongoing across Kansas and Oklahoma over the past several hours, but you can see this wind shift line. So it just went through Pittsburgh, right through Cherokee County, and then back into Nowata County. That's our front. So anything behind it, just some strong storms, but ahead of it, especially down in extreme southwestern Missouri, northeastern Oklahoma, we do have at least a low severe threat as we go through the next couple hours. Let's go through time. So we're going to move to 6 p.m. Showers and thunderstorms increasing northeastern Oklahoma into southwestern Missouri. We'll go to about 7 p.m. We can move to 7:38. Finally pushing all on the Missouri side. Kansas and Oklahoma starting to clear out after 8:30, and then most of the bigger storms gone by about 9 p.m. Of course, we'll break this down, look at the weekend, all coming up here in just a bit.
All right, we'll catch you then. A McDonald County, Missouri couple is now formally charged in connection with the kidnapping and murder of a pregnant Arkansas woman. 42-year-old Amber Waterman and her husband, 42-year-old Jamie Waterman, are being held at the McDonald County Jail tonight. Amber is charged with kidnapping resulting in death, and Jamie faces a federal charge of accessory after the fact of kidnapping resulting in death. Court documents indicate between October 31st and November 2nd, Amber Waterman kidnapped Ashley Bush, who was 31 weeks pregnant, in order to claim her unborn child as her own. Detectives say Amber transported Ashley Bush from Maysville, Arkansas to McDonald County, Missouri, where she killed Bush and, with the help of her husband, attempted to burn and dispose of the body. You can read more about this developing story, including the probable cause statement, on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. And we're going to have a lot more for you tonight on KOAM News at 6. A Pitt State faculty member has been named a part of the top 2% of scientists in the world by Stanford University. Ram Gupta works as an associate professor at PSU. He spends his time researching, advocating for grants, and most importantly, inspiring a new generation of scientists.
I'm in contact with almost all students, and my weekend is pretty full talking with them. They want to hear myself. Oh, I have not heard you for a long time. I want to hear. Okay. So yeah, students are very appreciative the support we are giving them, and we are also appreciative to students the work they have done here.
Gupta has been bringing more recognition to the Research Center and to PSU since 2013. KCU Joplin has started a new program to train their students with the help of actors. The Simulated Patient program allows students to experience realistic scenarios they could face on the job. Actors are trained to portray patients with various illnesses and injuries. Students are assessed on how they provide care to the actors.
We are thoroughly trained. We're trained on the case, so we know all the patient's history and background. We're also trained on an appropriate physical exam and what that should look like, so then we can score the patients or the students when they come in.
Using all the skills that we've learned throughout our schooling and attempting to sort of figure out, make a diagnosis is pretty rewarding in and of itself.
That program will continue for the rest of the semester. By now, you might be sick of all the campaign ads you see on TV. It's all part of a record glut of spending on the 2022 midterm elections. Reporter Natalie Brand has details from Capitol Hill.
Under Democrat control, massive inflation, crime-ridden neighborhoods.
Airwaves overloaded with campaign ads, a sign of a fierce election season and inexpensive one.
It's like, really? Another ad for another legislative person? Really?
How informative can that possibly be?
Spending on this election is projected to top $16.7 billion across federal and state races, including ballot measures, setting a new record for a midterm cycle, according to Open Secrets, a nonpartisan group that tracks the money.
It's campaign inflation.
Executive Director Sheila Krumholtz says one factor, the number of key open congressional seats up for grabs.
This cycle, we saw a huge leap in spending during the primaries.
The most expensive Senate races all top $100 million, including Georgia, Pennsylvania, Florida, Arizona, and Ohio. And that's just what the candidates spent.
We anticipate that we will trip the $2 billion mark for outside spending. That is money coming through super PACs and dark money organizations spending independently.
Issues have also attracted big dollars this midterm season, especially after the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. Planned Parenthood Votes says it's making a record investment of $50 million. On the other side, the Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life America PAC says its budget is $78 million. And after a series of mass shootings, the Everytown for Gun Safety Political Action Committee has raised more than $18 million, while the NRA's Victory Fund has raised around $17.7 million. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Okay, the good news, the election is almost over. We vote on Tuesday. The bad news, the next election cycle is a presidential election, which usually sees even more spending and more campaign ads. Still ahead, tips for runners.
They say slow and steady wins the race. Now research shows a steady pace during training can help prevent injuries. I'm Bradley Blackburn with the health advice for marathon season.
And the latest on concerns about RSV and the flu. Those stories next in Health Watch. Topping today's Health Watch, the CDC says hospitalization rates for the flu are the highest they've been in a decade. The agency says it comes amid a surge in the common respiratory virus known as RSV. Infectious disease experts say parents should be alert, particularly with very young children, and recommend vaccination against the flu and COVID. Deaths caused by alcohol use in the U.S. spiked during the COVID-19 pandemic. That's according to data published by the CDC. They found alcohol-induced deaths jumped 26% between 2019 and 2020, killing more than 49,000 people in 2020. Alcoholic liver disease was the underlying cause for more than half of the alcohol-induced deaths in 2020, followed by mental and behavioral disorders due to use of alcohol. The CDC has updated its guidelines for prescribing opioids for pain. Among the recommendations, medical providers should avoid abrupt discontinuation of opioids, and they should collaborate with patients when making treatment decisions. The agency says some state laws and insurance decisions that were supposedly based on the 2016 guidelines were actually inconsistent with those recommendations, and they have contributed to patient harm. It's fall marathon season with runners gearing up for races all around the country, including the New York City Marathon this weekend. But as runners train, there's new advice from doctors about how to avoid injuries along the way. Bradley Blackburn reports.
Maddie Goodman has been lacing up for marathons for years and training on the streets of New York City.
I run like mainly in Central Park.
But this year, as she trained for the Chicago Marathon, she knew something wasn't right with her hip.
I was compensating on other parts of my body on one side because I was having pain in my left hip.
Dr. Brett Torsdahl with New York's Hospital for Special Surgery treated Maddie, one of many marathoners he sees this time of year.
I see a lot of runners with hip problems, knee problems, ankle foot's definitely common.
In a recent study, he tracked hundreds of runners from the New York City Marathon and found conservative training can be key to avoiding injury.
We saw that as runners started to increase their training too quickly, it seemed that they were putting themselves at risk of injury.
He tells runners to make gradual changes during training. Some online training plans push too hard and don't make up for skipped sessions by adding extra long runs.
That's where people started to get injured, when they had a big spike in their training.
Maddie had overused the TFL muscle in her leg But a cortisone injection helped just in time for Chicago, where she ran a 3:01, her personal best.
I was just totally speechless. I really was like, I think they tracked the wrong runner and it wasn't me.
She's now pacing herself and adding more strength training to get ready for her next race.
Just go out, have a great time, and enjoy.
And be careful how you train.
Be careful how you train, yeah.
Because it's a marathon, not a sprint. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
That study found that during marathon training, 40% of runners reported injuries, and overly strenuous training can also make runners more vulnerable to infections. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, Twitter announces mass layoffs as Elon Musk takes over the company.
Plus, we're tracking thunderstorms rolling through the region this evening. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it turned out to be a warm, windy day for us today, and then thunderstorms have been increasing over the past few hours, so it is wet. It's going to be wet as we go through the evening. You can see that's what we're seeing. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort just outside of Seneca, Missouri, as showers and thunderstorms have been picking up. All right, most of the severe weather tonight is going to stay to our south, kind of clipping our southern counties. We do still have a tornado watch in effect. This is northeastern Oklahoma, northwest Arkansas. You can see one severe thunderstorm warning in Benton County, so just south of the region. But showers, thunderstorms have been increasing, and most of these have been just kind of moderate, some stronger storms within this cluster. But I really think any severe weather kind of stays down across the state line of Missouri and Arkansas, maybe into Delaware County. But we should get some decent amounts of rain. You can see it's been ongoing across southeastern Kansas over the past several hours, and then really has been picking up in southwest Missouri over about the past hour or so. Also, look at the wind barb. So you can see south of Nevada through Pittsburgh, part of Cherokee County, and then down into Nowata County in northeastern Oklahoma. That's our front. It's a very strong front. So any storms behind the front, so back here, just kind of moderate storms. Ahead of the front, that's where they could be a little bit stronger and maybe a random low grade severe thunderstorm. Let's take a tour of showers, thunderstorms, Yates Center, Chanute, Fredonia. A little bit heavier once you get over toward Fort Scott. We can track a little farther south. So here's Parsons, Independence, a pretty good little band of showers and thunderstorms. We got a little bit of showers and thunderstorms increasing in northeastern parts of Oklahoma. Of course, we have the severe thunderstorm warning in Benton County, and then just kind of moderate showers and thunderstorms most of southwestern Missouri. Then once you get up toward Lamar and Nevada, not too much action as of yet, but these will continue to increase. You can see them picking up just east of Tulsa, so that cluster will move into the metro over about the next hour or two. But again, the bulk of the severe weather stays to our south. Tornado threat very low, a little elevated in Benton County. Hail threat mainly low, a little elevated in our southern counties. Of course, we've had the wind threat all day long, so mainly along and south of I-44. Some of those strong storms may get winds gusting 40 upwards to 50. All right, here's 6 p.m. Clusters of storms through the metro. You can see southwest Missouri, extreme southeastern Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma still in the mix. By 7 p.m., here's 8 p.m., the bulk of the storms on the Missouri side. And then by 9 p.m., Kansas, Oklahoma pretty much clearing out. As we go toward 10 p.m., 9:30, 10, most of these storms are gone, and then we look a lot better as we go through the overnight hours. However, on the back side, we're going to get clipped with showers, mainly in southeastern Kansas, late tonight into tomorrow morning. So rain chances here 7 p.m., way up there, and then start kind of trailing off through the night into the morning hours. Additional rainfall. We need some good amounts of rain. 1 inch, maybe 2, southwestern Missouri. Of course, less in our western counties where you have already picked up quite a bit of rain. Look at this front. This is intense. 72 Joplin, 56 in Pitt. It's 43 in Yates Center. So as that front works through, our temperatures are really going to drop off. Of course, it's wet in Joplin. We got the strong southerly winds, which will switch to the north, kind of westish, as that front works through. All right, all this is gone tomorrow. Sunshine returns tomorrow afternoon, but our high temps quite a bit cooler, only right around 60 degrees. Here's your day planner. Clouds in the morning, 41, 50 by noon, 58 by 5, high temp of 59. but it does start to warm up on Sunday. Remember, the sun's going to set at about 5:30 Sunday evening. 71 on Monday, a few showers on voting Tuesday. Thunderstorms again next Thursday.
That's right. Falling back this weekend. It's going to be dark early come Sunday.
I know, but you gained an hour of sleep.
Yeah, I guess, sort of. Thanks, Doug. Coming up, the latest jobs numbers. First, though, we honor a local veteran. Harold Gray served in the U.S. Navy from 1941 to 1945. The Altamont, Kansas native was stationed on a merchant ship, and we salute gunner's mate Harold Gray, a four-state hero. Topping today's Consumer Watch, the latest job numbers are out and show businesses continue to bring on workers, but hiring is slowing down. Usher Qureshi reports.
Nabor Reynoso is gearing up for the busy holiday season now that he's a full-time driver for UPS. He had planned to become a personal trainer, but plans changed.
And I realized that I can make more money as a UPS driver, so that's what ended up happening.
A new report from the Labor Department shows employers added 261,000 jobs in October. Historically, it's a healthy number, but down from the average of 381,000 jobs over the previous 3 months. The unemployment rate ticked up to 3.7%.
As the economy slows down, there are not going to be as many job openings.
CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger says the weakening economy has some companies dialing down.
There's not going to be the need to fill as many jobs, and I think we're seeing some sectors actually contract, like the technology sector.
UPS plans to hire at least 100,000 seasonal workers. Many other companies are also trying to fill holiday positions. Amazon and Target are hiring at roughly the same levels as the last holiday season. But Walmart, the nation's largest retailer, is only adding about a quarter of the workers it did last year. UPS wants to bring on the same number of workers as 2021. The company is now holding nationwide hiring events in person and online.
We've simplified our hiring process as much as we can. About 80% of the folks do not require an interview.
Thousands of those holiday hires can lead to full-time positions. Nabor got his seasonal job last year and eventually earned a permanent position. Usher Qureshi, CBS News, Chicago.
Twitter's employees were braced for layoffs, and today those pink slips started to land. Staffers tweeted they'd been cut off from their work accounts, many of them saying goodbye to their coworkers. As many as half the company's 7,500-person workforce could lose their jobs. The layoffs come as new owner Elon Musk overhauls the company, looking to cut costs. Workers have already filed a class action lawsuit saying the cuts violate the law requiring the company to give notice before mass layoffs. Lyft says it's going to lay off 13% of its staff, or nearly 700 employees. In a memo to staffers, Lyft's co-founders said the layoffs will impact every part of the company. They said they're facing a probable recession next year, and rideshare insurance costs are going up. They said they worked hard to bring down costs last summer by slowing, then freezing hiring. Execs say they also cut spending and put less critical initiatives on hold. Even so, they said Lyft has to become leaner through layoffs. Despite high inflation, it doesn't look like families are skimping out on gifts this year. The National Retail Federation predicts sales for the November and December shopping months will be between $942 billion and $960 billion. That's an increase of 6 to 8% compared to last year. Still, holiday sales have already gotten a boost ahead of schedule. That's because many retailers kicked off the season earlier than usual. A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, why daylight saving time could soon become a thing of the past. Then on KOAM News at 6, the results of a Missouri poll on voters' opinions of candidates who claimed the 2020 election was stolen. Plus, we're going to hear more from a Pitt State professor being honored as one of the top scientists in the world. And the Pitt State Gorillas talk about what it would mean to win the MIAA League Championship outright tomorrow. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. That front moving through the area, bringing storms and also a big temperature change.
Yeah, once the front gets through your region, if it hasn't, your temperature is going to drop 20 to 30 degrees in an hour, which is kind of crazy. Still monitoring showers and thunderstorms, so of course we'll have the latest on that at 6. And then once we get into the weekend, a little bit cooler for us tomorrow. High of only 59, back to 70 on Sunday. A few showers Tuesday, thunderstorms again next Thursday.
Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.